Drink beer, it's good for you. I'm empty-handed and I'm feeling blue, and I'm gonna drink till the day that I die.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'm going to show you how you can avoid expensive water testing kits and water reports, but still get accurate enough numbers for adjusting your water for brewing before the brew. Before we move into this method, let's look at why you would want to do this in the first place. The chemical composition of your brewing water is a great thing to look at to further improve your homebrewed beers. By adjusting our brewing water, we look to improve the yield of our mash and also the flavour of our beer. We seek to optimise mash pH to gain a balance between the chemistry of our water and our malt. Our mash pH will lead to the NPH of our beer. The pH of our beer will determine how the flavours are tuned. You could have the best beer recipe ever, but if you don't have the right pH, then it simply will not shine to its potential. Naturally, pH is just one aspect of water adjustment. In terms of the chemical contents of your water, I already have a guide on this channel for this entitled Homebrew Beer Water Treatment Easy Guide. That covers this in an easy to understand way. One popular kit for beer brewing out there that will offer brewing water analysis is made by LaMotta and endorsed by John Palmer. It costs a whopping $119.99 US, or €97.23 plus postage. This is the basic kit that does not include the pH meter. These kits are actually not available in Europe because they currently do not meet the European REACH regulations. Another option is to obtain a report from your local water supplier. It's important to realise though that quite often these water reports are inaccurate, especially when water companies can often have more than one source of water that they will pipe to you. Many brewers have reported on these inaccuracies, so in general it's best to avoid these. It's for these two previously mentioned reasons that people are looking for alternative methods to analyse their water. The method that I share with you today is not my own. In fact, it would be impossible to trace back who first thought of it. It is sadly not so commonly known though, hence why I felt that it was time to share it here to help others in analysing their water. This method that I'm sharing is not going to be as good as professional analysis, but I believe that it is adequate enough and will give you a budget route with acceptable accuracy. To use this budget method, you will simply need a test kit for GH and KH. These kits are sold for aquarium owners. I bought this one on eBay for a mere €10 or just over $12 plus postage. Quite a large difference. So let's look at what these two tests will give us. GH is a test that will measure the general hardness of our water. This will give us important data for calcium and magnesium elements also. KH on the other hand is a test for carbonate hardness, which is going to reveal the alkalinity of our water. Here is the kit that I bought for this purpose. It's made by a company called API, which I believe sells in most worldwide markets. The kit is in a small box and it contains 2 chemicals and 2 test tubes, as well as some instructions. There is certainly nothing complex about using these kits, and I'm sure you would probably pick one up at a local pet or aquarium store. As you can see here, I've labelled my test tubes for convenience. Let's look at the first test for KH. Firstly, we'll put 5 milliliters of our water in our test tube, up to the top of the line. This is easier to add with a 5 milliliter dropper or plunger. We then add a drop of the KH test solution. After each drop you need to cap the test tube and tilt it. These tests work on the amount of drops. You can see that the water now has a blue tint to it. This is actually easier seen behind a white background. We add 1 drop at a time. The water will go blue to start with, and then after a certain amount of drops it will turn yellow. Your kit may change different colours. Essentially we are looking at colour change here, and we count the amount of drops that it takes to reach a change. In my test case, the test took 3 drops. The number of drops is equal to the DKH value. The DKH value is the degree of carbonate hardness in our water. This value can be converted into ppm on a scale of 1 DKH per 17.86 ppm. Thus in this test case we have 3 drops, which is equal to 3 DKH, which is 53.58 ppm. The GH test is basically the same thing again. You measure the colour change in drops. The number of drops is equal to the DGH value. This value is a degree of general hardness of our water. This value can also be converted into ppm on a scale of 1 DGH per 17.86 ppm. However, as homebrewers who are looking to adjust their water, we need to know more than this. We also need residual alkalinity, calcium and magnesium content. These actually can be estimated from our GH and KH tests. Let me show you a shortcut to a very easy way. The internet link on the screen right now you'll also find in this video's description. This will take you to a spreadsheet that will work in Microsoft Excel or OpenOffice. This is shared for free by this website, and you will also find an article there that runs through this method. You could also take this initial information and add it to a different calculator. In this spreadsheet you can simply enter your figures from the water tests and it will calculate everything for you. You can then enter figures for your brew and the spreadsheet will calculate your suspected pH value. If the pH value is not where you want it, then use the section of the spreadsheet Salt and Acid Additions. This spreadsheet is well supported with clear instructions, so I feel that I do not need to add any further on this. To decide where your pH should be, many will say this is governed by beer style. This may not be consistent with your taste, so only you can be the real judge here. You can also adjust other chemical values and track how this works out pH wise too. Here are some guidelines for you to test with your own palate. Optimal pH for your mash is generally accepted to be between 5.2 and 5.4. That is not to say that some do not aim outside of this range. They do. A lower pH will hide flavour and give a sharper taste. A higher pH will give a wider spectrum of flavour that is smoother. In terms of the chemical contents of your water, as I have previously mentioned, I already have a guide on this channel for this, and it's entitled Homebrew Beer Water Treatment Easy Guide. That covers this in an easy to understand way. Some will still be confused by all of this. It is understandable. Even when put in its most simplistic terms, people can misunderstand, and to be quite honest, it's common. Not only is it a complex topic, but it's also not an interesting or exciting one, to be quite honest. John Palmer has an excellent yet complex co-written book written on this subject. He confessed to me recently that this book took a long time to write simply because it was a very boring subject. However, this makes it a fantastic book for falling asleep with before bedtime. This now wraps up this guide. I do hope that you found it to be both useful and interesting. Please do let me know either way. I currently have an average of 99% likes for my content on my channel. This is great to know, but I really wonder what that 1% is all about. It could, as some have suggested, be that it is simply because of those YouTube watchers who watch something that they are not interested in on YouTube just to give it a dislike because they simply do not like beer. Who knows, but I am very interested in your feedback, good or bad. My aim is to improve always. So if you did like this video, then please do like it on YouTube. This really helps me out and allows the videos to be seen by a wider audience on YouTube. I have always got a lot of new videos planned for the future, so if you are interested in seeing my new content, then please subscribe for future content. If you have any questions on anything that I have covered in this video or any other video, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with me via YouTube or Facebook. I'm a member of pretty much every Grainfather Facebook group and more. Happy brewing!